Alright, so we got to mount this regulator. Here's what I'm thinking. I got this piece of aluminum. I'm going to cut it, weld on a piece to make it 90 degrees, put a hole to bolt right into there. If we make it all tight enough, it should all kind of locate itself and avoid spinning. Drill and tap a couple holes. Mount it something like that. I think it'll work. Need a piece that's 1.25 inches. My light's dying. Alright, the hole is 13/16 from the end. We'll get that cut, weld it on there, and then we'll adjust the length the rest of the way. Alright, we're going to drill this hole first because it'll make it easier. You could drill it later, but then you won't have as much room to clamp onto there. See how sharp this drill bit is. Nice. Perfect. Slightly off center, just like I planned. Not really. But that'll be okay. All right, let's go cut it. All right, we'll get these cleaned up a little bit. All right, let's see if the old dinosaur Syncroway wants to weld some aluminum today. She's very temperamental when it comes to aluminum. This is the point you want to look away. You're going to want to stare, but don't. Make sure I'm on AC there. Forgot to turn it up. Yeah, she's not happy. It's really thick. Maybe if I preheat a little bit. Running this thing off the Miller Bobcat in the back of my truck because I don't have 220 set up in the shop yet. Well, the stainless tube just fine, but this half-inch plate, not so much. It's only a 180 volt machine too, 180 amp. Don't need much, I just need it to melt together. Ah, man. Seems to be melting in the top, but it's not melting in the bottom piece. She just ain't got the guts. It's practically killing the machine. It's not even a pulse machine, that's just a generator pulsing. Gonna have to come up with plan B. Might just have to build a steel bracket. Let me think on it, we'll get back to it. Man, I really like that plan though. Kinda sucks. Alright, plan B, because I really wanted to stick with this bracket idea, was took it to work where we got bigger welding machines and tigged it up pretty nice. Need to shave this down, a little bit of an angle, shorten this piece a little, and we need a slight radius right here. We'll get it to fit in there. We'll get the two holes drilled for the regulator. Then I'll come back in and trim the back of this off. Smooth out the weld, put a nice chamfer on it and clean it up, make it look as close to machined as possible. I think that's the overall goal. All right. We're getting close. We need to trim a little bit more on that right side. I think that radius right there fits pretty well. The master cylinder's got a little bit of taper. So we need to put a little bit of taper into the bracket. Now that we've got it all smoothed out, need to get some like 400 or 600 grit sandpaper and I'll smooth it some more. But for now, I'm just going to get the holes drilled and tapped. Basically, figure out where I want this. See how far apart our holes are. You can do this two ways. You can try to eyeball your center. You can end up a little off that way. What I like to do is the inside of one hole to the outside. You're still eyeballing it, but you get a better, I think you get a better result. You just want to make sure you're using the tip of that and not putting it in there and going in at a crazy angle. That will change. .003. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was designed on 2-inch center. Seems like the most logic. Set this on 2-inch. You can do this with a tape measure too, but put me a little mark right there so I can kind of see how far away I want to put it. Basically going to go like that. I got a little ahead of myself and I did already mark these punches, and then I thought, well, I need to put this on video. So we're going to backtrack slightly. Again, you can use your mark. You can come in here with a tape measure, little metal square or rule. You can lay it out. Multiple different types of marking pens, and you can put a line, find your center and put a cross. punch your center and drill your hole. There's hundreds of ways to do it. What I like to do, get you some of this Dicam blue. They make this in different colors. Paint that on. There you have it. Now you can already see my punched marks, how easy they stand out. You can take your calipers. Measure across your width, 1 inch wide. You're going to put it at 1/2 inch, let it be on the center. You can come in here, again, just like your hole, put it right on the edge. Let it be as shallow an angle as possible. Run this back and forth. A little bit of practice, you can even do long lines. Want it a little darker, just push a little harder. Now you've got a center line in your width. Put my little mark there. Make little pencil scribes. You can use your punch tool, anything with your pocket knife, something kind of sharp. Again, you're just going to scribe a line. Now you got a nice silver line in your purple or your blue. You can also use these drafting compasses. I like them pretty well. You can set your spacing, measure with this. Just kind of adds another step. But these work good if you want to do a circle. Come in here and do the same thing. Put your Dicam glue down and spin you a circle. So the next step would be go back 2 inches. Lock that down. So if I didn't have my mark here, I would put this there in the center line of my mark. You can just scribe a little bit back and forth. Yeah, I kind of moved and I missed it. You gotta careful now. You've got a nice marked line. And you just come in here and right on your line, punch your holes. And it ends up looking like that. And then we can go drill it, tap it, mount that regulator. I'm going to do this in the drill press because it's aluminum, and I'm going to thread the holes. That way I'm not walking side to side and getting unlevel with the hand drill. I got my 13/64 bit in there. We're going to be doing a 1/4 20 tap. I can easily come back in and sand this a little bit more, and I plan on doing that. But if you've got a nice machine part that you don't want to mess up, if you're a rag or something, kind of protect that. You just want to make sure it's well away from your bit. Run that bit down into your hole, kind of shake it a little bit, make sure you like where it's at. You only get one shot, so she done moved. That's because I got the table loose. Tighten up all that. And if you're happy with it, send it. Now, something I would recommend doing before you go drill your second hole I like to double check that right where I want to be, the first hole didn't move. Sometimes it will. But in situations like this where I have some wiggle room, it's not real critical exactly where that regulator sits. If I got this hole off and I needed to adjust that one way or another, I could. It wouldn't hurt anything. But if the first hole's off and then you go to try to put the second one where your mark is, now you got both of them off and your part's not going to fit. There we have it. Let's see how close we got. Oh, it's not bad. Okay, so our bracket's threaded, or no, we're about to thread it. Bracket's drilled. I'm gonna clamp this down. No, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna do it by hand. A lot of times what I'll do is put the drill press on low. And if you're careful enough, you can run it in and stop and run it out. But I haven't used my drill press in a while and the speed adjustment knob is kind of stuck, so I'm gonna do this by hand this time. Alright, move this out a little bit more. got a real nice handmade aluminum bracket for our aluminum fluid works regulator. Let's go see how it fits in the truck. I went to the hardware store and I got new bolts to mount the regulator. I did not get a different nut to mount the bracket. So I'll add that to the list on the next trip. I think that looks pretty good. .45 fitting there. 90-degree coming in right there. And I'll either put a straight for the return, or might put a 45, might be better. I don't have another 45, but yeah, I think 45 would be best for that. About 150-degree fitting right there, hoping that that would so 150 degree there off the rail. Thought that'd be better than the 90 degree, but neither one of them really match up with the regulator. Might just see if I can kind of bend that a little bit, maybe like 120 degree. I mean, I could do the 90 would probably be better than the 150. I'll have to play around with that. Hopefully I can make something work. I like the way that regulator looks in the bracket. I think it looks pretty clean. Paint or powder coat the bracket black. Put a gauge right here so I can visually see it. Got the fitting under here. I can put the fuel pressure sensor for the ECU. Hopefully I got plenty of room in there because I don't actually have the sensor. Worst case, we'll put a 90-degree fitting on it. Either way, I'm super happy with how that turned out. All right, well, that's going to be it for this episode on the OBS Turbo LS build. I hope y'all enjoyed seeing some of the fabrication side. On the next video, we're going to be fabricating the downpipe and the full exhaust front to back, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one.